Hi, this is Beverly with another episode of Slow Your Roll, Girlfriend. And today I want to offer a few tips on how to ease your financial burden during this pandemic. On March 24th, I became unemployed in North Carolina as a result of COVID 19. The type of work I did involved education, and since schools were shutting down all over the country, there was no work for any of us to do. Now, keep in mind that I still had my part-time job at North Carolina Central University as a writing tutor, and I still have that job today because we have since moved everything online. But because I lost my primary job, the first thing I immediately did was file for unemployment. So, tip number one, even if you work more than one job and you have a second job that you are still working, but you've lost one of the jobs, still go ahead and file for unemployment. That's important because people just assume, well, I already have a job, so because I have a job, that must mean that I won't be eligible for benefits. No, you may not get as much as you'd like to get. However, you should be entitled to something specifically because you were a victim of the coronavirus. This falls under the CARES Act. And I might also add that under the CARES Act, there is an additional $600 that's being offered to those who have been unemployed. So immediately go sign up if you haven't already. And also keep in mind that millions of people have lost their jobs all over the country. So a lot of those unemployment websites are probably so outdated, and that's probably why they're crashing. But don't give up. What I found was I started the process in the morning, and I found, well, Mondays and Tuesdays are not really good days to try to file for unemployment online. So I picked odd times, like I would do it like 9 o'clock at night or real early in the morning when I didn't think anyone was up, and that's how I was able to complete the process. It does take a couple of weeks to get started with the benefits, but if you are approved, you will get those checks plus that bonus. The other thing too is this is something that I've always kind of like had an issue with, and that's filing for food stamps. But once again, we're in a time that we never thought we'd be in. So if you're qualified for food stamps, take advantage of that. I encourage you to take advantage of everything you can take advantage of at this point in time. If it's food stamps, if it's health care, unemployment benefits, those are things that you really should look into. Now, the big thing I think we should all be looking into if we are homeowners is how we can get our payments delayed or deferred. Now, under the CARES Act, you can qualify for something called a deferment or a forbearance. Now, here's the catch though. You need to find out if your mortgage is federally backed. So, if your mortgage is a VA loan, if it's a Freddie Mac or a Fannie Mae, or if it is the HUD, those are all federally backed. And that would qualify you to contact your mortgage lender to see if they would give you either a deferment or a forbearance. Now, here's the trick about those two, and you need to be aware of this. A deferment means that your company, mortgage company, lender, will allow you to pay your mortgage without interest. That's a deferment. A forbearance means that they're going to push your payments back. So let's just say you can't pay your mortgage and you can't pay your mortgage for the terms of 4 to 6 months. Well, what the forbearance does is it adds another 4 to 6 months onto the extension of your loan, and you'll end up paying higher interest anyway. So, if you can avoid a forbearance, do it. And if your lender is offering the deferment, you should go with that. Now, also keep in mind that whatever you get, a deferment or a forbearance, it is going to show up on your credit report, but it is not going to impact your credit score. And that's good because I tell you, in these times, when people getting into financial debt and getting deeper, digging themselves deeper in a hole, everything is important. With the hospital bills, everything is important. So if you, find yourself in a situation where you just can't seem to get out of it, just know that if you do get the forbearance or the deferment, it is going to show on your credit report, but it's not going to be reported. Hospital bills, they can surely rack up. And if you already have some outstanding hospital bills that have shown up, on your credit report, like they've shown up on mine, contact your hospital to see if they have some type of charity disbursement that they can give. There are a number of hospitals around the country who will pay off your medical bills through some charitable foundation. Of course, this is based on your income. I mean, if you already make $100,000 and you've got $50,000 in hospital bills, chances are you're probably not going to qualify. But if you do have a lot of hospital debt and your income is, at a certain level, yes, in fact, there is money available. And I am a witness to that because when I had my procedure last year, that procedure alone was $170,000. Now, do you think I could have afforded that? Okay, you know the answer to that. But because of my daughter, who works in the healthcare industry, I learned of the charitable program that helped me to pay off my medical debt. So, those are just a few tips that I wanted to share with you. Just making sure that you do the things that you need to do, understanding that you should go ahead and file for unemployment, even if you still have a part time job. Seek out a forbearance or a deferment, preferably a deferment. But remember, your mortgage has to be federally backed. And if you don't know if your mortgage is federally backed, contact your lender and ask them. And that way you'll know for sure. And I'm sure there's probably some other relief you can do with the smaller credit card companies. I have not sought them out because I don't have any outstanding balances on any of the little small credit cards. So that's not an issue I have to deal with. Okay, so this is just information I wanted to share with you as I continue to shelter in place. And it's something that I want to share with you to help you stay empowered on your journey. See ya.